A very good morning everyone. I once again welcome you all for the last chapter of SCD subject, that is opto semiconductor devices. So let's begin. The relationship between the light and the electricity is called as optoelectronics, and the electronic devices working on this principle are referred as optoelectronic devices or opto semiconductor devices. Let's see the classification. The optoelectronic devices are broadly classified into three types: light sensors, light emitters, and opto isolators or opto couplers. The light sensors are the one which converts the light energy into its equivalent electrical energy. Here, light energy is converted into its equivalent electric energy, whereas light emitters are the one which converts electrical energy into light energy. Means they do the reverse operation of light sensors, that is they convert electrical energy to light energy. And opto isolators or opto couplers are the ones so which are available in the discrete IC formats, are the combination of light sensors and light emitters. So opto isolators are nothing but these will provide the electrical isolation between the input and output circuits. The input circuit will be constructed using light emitter and output circuit will be constructed using light sensor. So it is available in the integrated package format or IC package format, where you are going to find both light emitters as well as light sensors. The light emitters, as we know here, they convert the electrical energy into an equivalent light energy. Sometimes the light energy that is given as an output, it is visible or sometimes it is invisible. There are again three types. So LED, this is light emitting diode, or laser diode, which is going to emit a sharp focused intense monochrome laser beam, or infrared. So as I told you, it may emit visible or invisible light rays as the output. So in case of these two, LED and laser diodes, the light emitted by these devices will be visible to the naked eyes, whereas infrared light rays, these are invisible to the naked eyes. The light sensors are nothing but these converts the light energy into electrical energy. So these sensors will be working on one of these principles, one of these three principles. Very first one is photoconductive. So photoconductivity. Second principle is the photovoltaic effect, and the third working principle, that is photoemissivity or photoemission. So here the light sensors which works on the principle of photoconductivity are the photodiode and the phototransistor. So this is a two terminal device. Both are two terminal devices only. We will see their construction and working principle very soon. And the devices are the light sensors which works on the principle of photovoltaic effect, are the only one class of category of devices that are available for your syllabus, that is solar cell, or sometimes it is also referred as PV cell, that is photovoltaic cell. And the light sensors which works on the principle of photo emission are phototube and photomultiplier. So here in this chapter we will be studying all these devices one by one. Let's see the first principle or light sensor category, that is which works on the principle of photo emission. What is photo emission? Photo emission is nothing but it is the liberation of electrons from the metallic surface and the generation of electron hole pair in the material whenever they are subjected to light. That is referred as photo emission. Means to say that whenever some metallic surfaces, whenever they are subjected to light energy, they are going to generate the electron hole pairs in them. So this this method or this phenomena is referred as photo emission. Here particularly certain metals like potassium, sodium and cesium, they are going to exhibit the photo emission effects. I cannot use all the metals I cannot expect all the metals to exhibit the photo emission effects. There are some special metals, so which will exhibit the good photo emission effects. So here in the figure you can see here in the figure here there is a cathode which acts as the photo emitter. So and there is one more anode plate is there, which is connected to positive potential of the battery, and this cathode is connected to negative potential of the battery. And here this cathode is exposed to the radiation, or you can say this on this cathode light rays are made to fall upon. So whenever these light rays or radiations, they fall upon the cathode surface, they are going to emit the electrons, and these emitted electrons will be accelerated towards the anode plate, because as the anode plate is maintained at positive potential, the liberated electrons are of negative charge. So since these are of negative charge, these will get attracted to the anode plate, and this whenever these electrons move from cathode to anode, this constitutes a current, that is I, so which is denoted by the whose amount is denoted by in the emitter here. So this current is referred as photo current, and the voltage, so this voltage is referred as accelerating potential. So why this is called as accelerating potential in the sense, so since the liberated electrons are accelerated towards the anode plate because of this battery, or because of the anode is connected to the positive potential of the battery, so this battery source is referred as, or this potential is referred as accelerating potential. Here remember, so there should be certain condition here. So for not all light rays the electrons are emitted. For not all light rays, in the sense, I expect some energy, the minimal energy to be in the light rays, so that the electrons will be emitted. So if there is a condition, so that condition says that the energy of the incident light particle, should be greater or equal to the work function of the metal. Means, let's say this is the energy of the light rays or photon energy, it should be greater or equal to the work function of the material. So work function of the material, every cathode surface or every metal surface you are going to use here will be having its own work function. So work function in the sense, for work is said to be done whenever we apply force on a certain particle by some means. If there is a movement is observed, then only we can say that work is said to be done. So if the energy is less than the work function of the material or metal, so here even though the light rays are made to fall on the cathode surface, the cathode is not going to emit any electrons. So this is a condition, so where the incident energy should be greater than the work function of the metal, then only electrons will be liberated. And the amount of electrons that are liberated from the cathode surface, it depends upon the energy of the incident light particles. The phototubes and the photomultipliers are going to work on this principle, which are the class of light sensors. The next working principle is the light photoconductivity. The light sensors which works on the principle of photoconductivity are photoresistors, phototransistors, and photodiodes. Here, so the photoconductivity means it is a property of a semiconductor material whose conductivity or resistance varies with intensity of the incident light. So here in the previous case, in the sense, that is in the photo emission, depending upon the intensity of the light energy, the different number of electron hole pairs are generated, or the number of electrons are liberated here from the cathode surface. So here depending upon the intensity of light, the conductivity of the semiconductor material is going to vary. Or alternatively, you can say if the conductivity is increasing in the sense the resistance of the material is getting decreased. If the conductivity increases in the sense it is going to carry more current. It is going to carry more current. So the amount of conductivity or the amount of resistance of this material will be varying with respect to the light that is going to incident on it. So remember here, let's in this figure we have shown here a semiconductor bar. So where we have applied potential in this fashion. So let's keep this potential constant as of now. No doubt due to this potential some electron hole pairs are created here, but as this semiconductor bar is exposed to the light rays, so more number of electron hole pairs are created in addition to that are created by the potential source. So there are three ways in which the electron hole pairs will be generated in a semiconductor bar. Very first one is based on the bias voltage. Very second one is the thermally generated electron hole pairs, or you can say due to the increase in the temperature at the junction, there may be electron hole pairs may be generated. In addition to those two phenomena, we can observe some more electron hole pairs are created in excess due to the incident light energy. So here you can see here, as the number of electron hole pairs in this semiconductor bar are increased, the conductivity of the material is going to increase, or else in alternatively you can say that the resistance of the material is going to decrease. The photo resistors, the photo transistors and the photodiodes, they works on the photoconduction principle. Next one is the photovoltaic effect. So here this is the effect by which semiconductor material is going to generate a voltage. So whenever it is exposed to light. So this working principle is referred as the photovoltaic effect. The device which are working on this effect, they convert the light energy into electrical energy only, but in the form of voltage. The best examples or the best device which works on which is very popular and work on this photovoltaic effect are the solar cells. Here they use the sunlight as a light source, unlike in the previous cases where they use existing uh, light sources from any light technologies, existing light technologies. But here the solar cells, they particularly use the light rays that are coming from the sunlight. So these solar cells will exhibit the photovoltaic effect, and the photovoltaic devices or PV cells are made up of materials like silicon, gallium arsenide or selenium. So we will see this effect in detail while discussing the solar cells. Okay. Next one is the photodiode. Photodiode is a semiconductor PN junction diode which is always operated in reverse bias condition. So why it should be always operated in reverse bias condition, we will see it while explaining the working. It is basically, it uses the photoconduction effect. So it works on the principle of photoconduction effect. Let's see the construction. You can see here it is like a normal PN junction diode only, but there is a glass lens. So this is a glass lens which is fixed, or sometimes there can be a small window that is made over the junction. So why it is made? Because we need some, by some means we have to expose this junction with the light rays. So for that reason we can make a small window here, or a lens is made or lens is fixed over this junction, and this junction is exposed to the light energy. As you can see here, this diode is reverse biased. This diode is reverse biased. The P is connected to negative terminal of the battery source and N is connected to positive terminal of the battery source. Due to reverse biasing, the depletion region here will be white. As we know that whenever the diode is operated in reverse bias condition, the majority charge carriers, they will move away from the junction. Let's say in p-type, holes are majority charge carriers, they move in this opposite direction, as well as the electrons in case of n region, they will be attracted towards the positive terminal of the battery source. Means to say that the majority charge carriers are moving away from the junction, they are moving away from the in opposite direction to the junction. That's why the depletion layer is going to increase. Whenever photons are light rays, whenever they strike this depletion region, they give energy, to these ions and they generate electron hole pairs. So as we seen in the photoconduction effect, whenever a junction or whenever the junction is exposed to the light energy, more number of electron hole pairs are created. So the number of electron hole pairs created, it depends upon the incident light energy. So here, so according to that, so the number of electron hole pairs that are generated at the junction, it depends upon the intensity of the light. Due to the increased minority charge carriers, the reverse current which will flow in the opposite direction, the reverse current increases, which is nothing but this reverse current is referred as photo current. This one is referred as photo current. And remember, this photo current magnitude, it depends upon the incident light energy. So let us say if there is no light particles or if there is no light energy is made to fall on this junction. At this time, the reverse current, that is the photocurrent that is flowing through this PN junction diode will be very small, and that small photocurrent is referred as dark current. It is referred as dark current. So you can see the symbol here. You can see the symbol. This is like a normal PN junction diode only. But the thing is, so the light rays are made to fall on this diode. So you can see here in the picture, here light rays are falling on this junction. So this is the symbol of photodiode. Now the question arises, why this diode is not forward biased? What happens? Let me erase all this. Let's say P is connected to positive potential of the battery source and N is connected to negative potential of the battery source. So if it is connected like this, I can say this photodiode now it is forward biased. Remember, whenever the diode is forward biased, the majority charge carriers will try to move towards the junction, thereby decreasing the depletion layer. Once the depletion layer is decreased, obviously the current now will flow in this direction and the current is referred as forward current. In this scenario, even though if the junction is exposed to the light energy, there will be no doubt there will be number of electron hole pairs will be created. But the current contribution due to these electron hole pairs that are generated from the light energy will be very least, compared to the forward current. So I can say the number of electron hole pairs that are created at the junction, the number is very negligible when it is compared with the electron hole pairs that are generated from the bias potential. That's why the effect of the light rays won't be observed whenever it is forward biased. It can be observed only whenever it is reverse biased. Next we see the photodiode characteristics. So here you can see the photodiode characteristics. So very first one is, this is a reverse voltage that is taken along the x-axis and the current is taken along the y-axis. This is done in the third quadrant because both the voltage as well as the reverse current are treated as negative. So here you can see initially there will be a very small current, that is nothing but dark current. Dark current in the sense, let's say whenever this is reverse bias and whenever no light is made to fall on this junction, the current will be very small, and that current was called as dark current. This is the amount of dark current, very small amount of current will flow. So since the intensity of the light is measured in lumens per meter square, so if you go on increasing the intensity with different intensity values of light source, I am going to get an increase in the reverse current. As you can see here, for 1000 lumens per meter square, this much of amount reverse current will flow. For 2000, this much amount of reverse current will flow. Means to say that the reverse current is increasing with intensity of light. So the same is observed here. So this is the graph where we are plotting uh, the I lambda, that is the reverse current, with the intensity of the light. So as you can see here, as the intensity of light is increasing here, correspondingly current also is getting increased here. Reverse current is also getting increased. So this is the point where very small current will flow in absence of light energy, or there is at this point the light intensity measured is 0 lumens per second. So this is very small current will flow, that is referred as dark current. So as we increase the intensity of the light source, we are getting an increase in the reverse current. Next we see the applications. So the photodiodes are used in photodetectors, alarm systems, in counting the objects over the conveyor belt. They are used in high-speed logic circuits, and they are used in optical communication systems. The next one is photo transistors. Again, this is a class of optoelectronic device which works on the principle of photoconduction effect. So like the photodiodes also, they work on the photoconduction effect. So these light sensors will also work on the principle of photoconduction effect. Let us see the construction. Here the phototransistor is a two-terminal, three-layered semiconductor device which is sensitive to light energy. So here, so even though it is a transistor, unlike the transistors, let's say BJT or FET, where there were three terminals and three layers, but here there are only two terminals. Like BJT, there are three layers, but there are only two terminals. So here you can see the like BJT phototransistor has three regions, that is base, collector and emitter, but the base is left open, that there is no connection is made to the base region. Base region ಗೆ ಏನು potential ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. The top surface of the phototransistor has a window or lens that it's so that the base can be exposed to the light. The base is exposed to the light energy. For that reason, on the base we are going to make a small window, or we can fix a lens. The like other transistors, so which are active in the active region, for that we need to uh, bias in such a way that the emitter to base junction should be forward biased, while the collector to base junction should be reverse biased. Here also it is done in the same manner, but the only difference is base is exposed to the light. Here you can see here there are only two terminals are here. Sorry, there are only two terminals, that is emitter and collector. Base, there is no potential that is connected here. Base is left open. On the base, there is a lens that is fixed. For some cases, in some cases, a window is made here, so that this base region is going to be exposed to the light rays. As you can see here, the end region, the emitter that is connected to the negative terminal of the battery source, and collector that is connected to the positive terminal of the battery source. No doubt. Here, the output current in case of transistor is nothing but IC. Sorry, one second.